Well, today I just want to go through my portfolio. I had a big hit like sharing my sketchbook, and I was thinking like, geez, it takes a long time to fill up these sketchbooks. So one of the things that I do as a freelancer is I bid on projects. So what I have is I've compiled a folder called Favorite Logos. It's just something I started a long time ago, and in it I save some of my kind of low resolution files that I always go back to on my computer or my tablet. Sometimes I have some of these backed up on my phone that when I'm bidding on the go, I can attach these to my bids for projects like, graphic design, illustration projects, comic book projects. And I'm just going to start. I can't finish everything in one go. So today I'm going to just start with like the main folder, and let me know what you think, what stands out, and we'll go from there. So let's start. Okay, so here's the main folder, and I have a lot of subfolders in here, and at later times I'm going to go through these. But in the main folder, there's a bunch of stuff, as you see here. And there's a lot. I don't know, I'll go as far as I can until I get tired, and then maybe I'll continue it into a second video. So I'm just gonna go kind of sight unseen. Usually I have it on my computer. This time I'm sharing it on my tablet. So this was a project for a book project that there's going to be a cover for coming up in this same folder, and there were inspirational expressions for a motivational book for a client, Stephen Choi, I believe. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. That's like a famous quote. This is actually something different. It just, the file names kind of listed alphabetical or numerical. This was for my ex's father-in-law, my former father-in-law, and he was a lawyer that would run ads to collect, invoices for his clients, unpaid invoices. So that's his specialty. He would send out warnings or something, and put the business in question in a position to encourage them to pay their outstanding invoices. Otherwise, they would find themselves in a legal pursuit. So this was for a printed ad that he would run. So I made up this kind of like 1960s sort of old school commercial ad. This is back to that motivational book. I think it was the same one. I did several for these, and they're like quick sketches. Who knows what I got paid for these, like maybe $30-40 or less, maybe even per illustration, black and white. I forget what I used here. I think I used this free software called SAI, S-A-I, for that. And it had kind of these brush techniques. So these are, simple illustrations. He's scratching his head like a monkey. Superman. I like the waist. The waist is well done here. The abs are kind of nice drawings. This is a nice kind of classic drawing, quick sketch. This was for the same series, a little bit of a pain because there's so many people, but got through it. I mean, not a lot of preliminaries for these. I pretty much just try to visualize it and just sketch it out. Same. This I probably looked at a reference of a Lamborghini. I didn't trace it, I just kind of looked at it and sketched it out. The house I pretty much made up. No reference there. This I use often because I like the idea, the opportunity, and the waves of opportunity. That's the impression there. I believe I can fly. I like that because this was a good composition. This is also kind of nice. It's simple running poses, nothing too elaborate. Again, like probably straight to digital pen for this. And these are definitely done digitally, I'm pretty sure. But it's hard to tell by the line work because it's possible I drew them on paper and then scanned them in and then shaded them digitally. This I kind of like. I like the concept, but the drawing's like, it's okay. And obviously the poses are like, you can tell they're not referenced because it's not like the most natural, like the way the feet stick out. It's kind of a cartoon. This is Steve Jobs. So I looked at pictures and I did a caricature of him basically. Bruce Lee. This, I love the concept. I feel bad that it was like a rush again, that I didn't really use reference. And horses were always a weakness of mine until recently. And the only way I can like grasp it is with some form of small reference. But this, again, I didn't use any reference. So the joints are like not perfect. Again, a good composition, good concept. But it's like a quick, easy job online. This is a logo, looks good small. And I always like this logo because it uses Web 2.0. And I did a lot of these. And you see like along the top of the numbers and letters, there's kind of like a glow. And then there's like the reflection. This was very, very popular. And I got to be a master of these Web 2.0 logos. I did a lot of these. So at one point, geez, it must have been like maybe 10 years ago now. Well, at one point, I decided to put together these little collections like this for portfolio so I could kind of overwhelm, in a way, the client with a lot of reference. So it's like I didn't know if like they liked one or the other when I was bidding. So I would just compile these. So then among these logos, they could see at least one that they would like, that would give them the impression that, oh, okay, this guy can handle what I got in mind, So like in the bottom right, you see the localart.ca. That I did everything, like including the icon I did from scratch. So that's a particular type of logo. The banner, Alidia, is another logo. I think the dog I drew myself. I always like this one, the new dumb blonde jokes. She's great. I think in one of the other folders, there's a bigger picture of that, and it's like, I love so much about it. Maybe when I get there, I might talk about it more, because I love like the body, the way like the bumps in the body are made together, like the hips and the thin waist. I thought it was like a cute drawing. So anyway, there's a lot to see here. Feel free to comment if anything catches your eye. This I isolated because, I don't know, I just thought maybe I could use it by itself. This is one of the ones I used a lot. So you see in the top left, web and print graphics by Christian S. Alouache. Man, these are a lot of good ones. The Gatewood Gators, I love that drawing. It's like it's one of those opportunities where maybe I got like $75 or something like that for this logo. It was all Photoshop logo. So it was one of those opportunities where I was like, yes, I got something like where I could draw in a comic book style and a detailed style and color it that way. And it was like a show-off piece, like, hey, if I'm given what was then like a decent budget, maybe it was more, maybe it was like 100 or something bucks. But once I'm given a little bit more budget, then I can spend more time on it, and then I can really use like the skills that I have, like, the forearm and the upper arm are, well constructed muscle-wise. So that was good. The chef is good. the comic, I think I have a bigger version of this. I did about like 3 or 4 for a cleaning service where like the girl shows up and she cleans like in the nude or something. Like it was just some business somebody had. So I did a few comic strips of that. A lot of different cartoons like the dog and cat portrait. The one on the bottom right, the Bruise and Blues illustration, that was a great poster, and I always wished I had a bigger version of this because it was such a good version, like it's such a good illustration and a good indicator for clients where I could get maybe bigger projects for big posters for festivals and such. Texas Longhorns, that was a fun one. The one on the bottom left, I did 2 books, and I remember I did these drawings for $10 a pop in color for these books. It was a gift to this girl's dad, Jack Cooper, and all his expressions during her life. And the first one was so popular that she did a second one of her own expressions for him, and it was really cute. Yeah, again, $10 a pop. I never forgot that, but it was like 100. Well, not 100. Was there 100? I think 100 because it wound up to like $1,000. So it kept me busy. The vegetables are good, and then there's like a caricature on the bottom. This is a variant of that because I like the gator. I like the chef, which is like a woodcut style, and then some comic book illustrations that you're going to see more of in other folders. And the superhero is also in a character design one folder. This one I try to isolate, but you see when it's blown up, it's kind of blurry. This again, I couldn't have a good copy, but you could see I put a lot of work and I did the whole design. I forget if they provided the logo, but I know I did the beer, but I'm not sure if they did the Bruise and Blues Fest. This was, I thought, a good one. It was like vector, so I did it all in Illustrator. So I drew with a mouse, and it turned out okay. This is a bunch of logos. The top marquee valeting on the top right is one that I liked. It's I forget whose idea it was, if it was like I came up with that with like the outline or something that clients suggested. That's what's nice about like clients. They sometimes come up with ideas and they give you the ideas. And then so it's like you're just kind of utilizing your skills and adding that extra artistic flavor. Like the ones underneath, the GDL web, I'm pretty sure I came up with several designs and then they narrowed it down to this. They may have given me a color code or like something they already had in the website. The shower curtain store, I know for sure I came up with a lot of little graphics for the bathtub and the shower curtain. So the pocket bike form I really like, thought that was cute. And the Evil Empire bike. I like stuff like that I felt like when I was doing them, I was like building my portfolio for drawing things that I didn't normally draw, like motorcycles. So that was kind of fun for me. The other ones were like, they're just examples of like different style illustrations. The cats I did not draw. I think the cats were provided for me, but I include this logo just for the client's variety. These I isolated because they were bikes. This I also liked. Oh man, so this is getting into stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff that I took projects of. Headers and banners, little jazz bird. So then affiliate program, liveasiangirlcams.com. I don't even know if it's still going. So I did a few of those. Nudebabelist.com. So they provided graphics, and then I kind of combined them for a number of ads. This one in the middle on the left, be a guest creator today. I'm an explorer. This was great, and it was always one of those files. that I wish I still had, because I made animated GIFs in Photoshop of like the photos like animating, moving in, and like sliding in and blurred effects. And then I always loved these, and I think I did a couple of them, and I just didn't keep the files, or they were lost in like backing up, like the way I used to back them up on CDs. So yeah, that's a shame. But I wish I still have the GIFs of that. The one at the bottom I really love. I love like that zombie illustration with the train. And again, I don't have like a high-res image of that. But that was a fun one, because I got to draw like cool comic book stuff. That one. These are kind of mascot logos. A lot of different things that I did, like incorporated logos, like with the text, and then that character in the middle, and then kind of more technical drawings along the bottom. So that's kind of like the variety I show here. Logos, mascots, and graphics. Graphics only. And by that I guess I mean still character-driven graphics. Now when I would attach these to a bid, like the one on the bottom left was reused previously, so I would probably attach like one or the other, so that's why like having duplicates is kind of okay if I'm only using one out of the two. So just odd projects. I don't know, let me know what you like. This one I recreated recently for a book, because I always loved this, and I just redrew it in my cartooning book, which is called Fun and Easy Cartooning Techniques for Drawing Comics and Manga. In one of the intro pages, it's kind of a background image. Illustrations. This is a lot of cool stuff. I like the zombie merch one, To Die For. That's a good one that I later in this folder I have a bigger image that's more detailed. The Einstein looking guy with the beef, that's like the highest res I have of that. The skull ones are good. I think that was Vector, the one with the triple X on his bandana and the mohawk. That was pretty sure it was Vector that I think like did a vector trace. So I drew it in ink, scanned it, then a vector trace, and then colored it on a separate layer with some highlights. Lucifer's Crew, that was good, but I really kind of screwed up the perspective of the bike in that middle one with the angel and the demon on the highway. The perspective of the bike I really screwed up, and I always regretted that because I felt like the drawing was good and that devil is really good, and I think I have a higher res of him. The comic is for that cleaning thing, and you see the preliminary and then the final, so I showed that, and then other stuff there. Yeah, so not a good res of this. Ad, this was done in Illustrator. This I always liked as a drawing, one of the earliest, like maybe first year of myself as an online freelancer. I want to say like 2004, 2005. And I think maybe the budget was low and he only needed like the pencil version. He was okay with this. But it was good, and I always liked this drawing because it reminded me of like Judge Dredd. And again, it was a situation where it was fun to draw stuff that were more detailed and less cartoony. This was for a comic book that was supposed to be in the style of like 1930s comics. This was an ad for some cell phone thing. Cleaning, logo, a manga thing. There's two faces for this too. I did another version in another folder. Sketch is good. Drawn. I like the calves a lot, and the forearm, the muscles there is good. This was a commission for somebody, I believe, in like Australia or something like that, and I ended up mailing the original. So they commissioned, and then I mailed it. I must have charged extra for the mailing, and that's about it. It was like some of their favorite anime characters. There's another version. I never got a good scan of it. I just kind of like did it real quick and took like a photo with my phone and sent it off. So look at, see there's like 43 of 263 in this folder. So I'm gonna go for a few more minutes and then we'll continue it. And let me know if you like this, because I mean I got tons of these and they're fun to share for me. So if you enjoy them, like I'll keep sharing, and you get to see like all, I guess, thousands of projects that I've done now as a freelancer, and a total variety. It's not like just in one thing. This paid pretty good, this one. Like I want to say it was like a $300 project or maybe more for that logo design. This I always liked, and I used it several times. See, it's again Web 2.0, but it's such a beautiful design. It's all Photoshop and the nice grays in the background and like the colors and the reflection. It's really nice, and a very subtle glow around. There's like this nice glow and like a slight stroke. This is for a client, Robert, that I'm still friends with on Facebook, and I don't know if he still has his website, but he has a basketball thing, and his son is a very young basketball player, and we still keep in contact. I met him here in New York too. After I worked for him, I ended up just moving to New York. So I was in Canada originally, and I did some illustrations, kids illustrations, that I'll show you later for him as well. This is the book that the illustrations started for originally. So Becoming Brilliant, Finding Success Within Yourself. This is a book that he wrote, and I did those illustrations early on for that. This is a good one. It doesn't do it justice because it's got it's a PNG, so it has a transparent background. So when you preview it here, you see all the little kind of dots and the mistakes that, because it was a hand-drawn picture that was scanned. So there are some flaws, but on a white background, it looks wonderful. Trust me. And I always love this drawing because, again, it's like, it's a nice classic comic book drawing, and it was fun to do that because it utilized like my knowledge of life drawing and anatomy and some style, but the style is a bit all over the place in here. Like I don't really have like the technique down right. Like I feel like I'm a much better artist now, but it still holds up pretty good. I think there's nice things in the hair and the body. These are some variations for a book cover. There's that 3D version. The different like textures in the background. That, just trying out different fonts, and I think it was hard for me to choose, so I gave him different options for the fonts, and then he chose one of them. I forget. I guess the one that I did a 3D version of. This was another thing that probably sketched in pencil and then traced as a vector. So I kind of like it. This is the other one. I guess it has the same face as before. Yeah, I like this. I actually use this in my new book, the cartooning book. I used this as an example. I took the text out. But this is good. It has like some perspective. I think I used it in perspective area. This is a logo I always liked. It was kind of simple, but I thought it was like, in my mind, I thought this is what like designers that only design, that don't have illustration skills, this is what they do. And I felt I was tapping into their skill set. This is kind of interesting because it was done all in Photoshop and it's made to look 3D. It looks like kind of like a 3D picture, but it was done all in Photoshop with shading and stuff. So, and then a couple of different versions. So, this is a nice logo that I again, I guess I did it as vector, but I maybe sketched it originally. And I like the bright colors, and I like the female figure, and it's kind of like the torso kind of just spreads out like that at the top, and it feels like the arms are up and celebratory and dancey. And then this is a big, busy ad for printing. But what's cool about it is I did the logo at the top with the cars and stuff, and that took a little time. So the logo was one thing, and then they wanted all this damn info. So I put it in. All right. This is a book for Carol Borschi's, and she's a client of mine, and I've even designed her website, her author website. So if you Google her, you'll find her website, which is a Wix site. So I designed it using Wix. And at the time, I never designed using Wix before, but it was pretty easy to navigate, and I made a decent website for her. And I did a bunch of other illustrations for one of her children's books. So I like this design. It was fun to design book covers. And I might finish on this. It's like kind of a New Yorker style cartoon. And it's kind of self-explanatory. We need someone with vision, integrity, and great leadership skills. Someone like Bob Sladek. So I don't know what that means, but you get these projects and you just kind of do it. And he wanted like the characters to look a certain way, so it's a good skill to have, that you could draw in different styles. If a client says like, I want this style, well, you first have to have some examples to show that you can do it, and then you have to sell them on it. You have to be able to actually do it, and make it feel like a New Yorker cartoon. So, and that also to look like it's a different artist. And that's it for now. I don't know, I think I got about 20 minutes worth of portfolio images. So there's a lot. I got to 65 of 263. There are some other folders like comics and stuff, but I'd like to finish this if you guys like it. And there's t-shirts and there's character designs, and I have a folder called logos, which actually has a mix of stuff. So I'd love to hear in the comments like what you guys liked the most out of what you saw. If you want to see like more logo stuff, then I can maybe pick like a logo folder or a t-shirts folder, but there's things mixed in here. So first of all, just let me know if you liked it or not, and what you want to see more of, and I'm happy to just go through these with you and tell you stories. And certainly if there's like a story you want to hear more about, and hopefully I have something more to tell, then I can zone in on a certain illustration, tell you a little bit more about it, and then go through other portfolio items. So let me know what you think, and see you next time.